Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachahakorash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect. And I wanted to do a lesson, all right, going into the origins of evolution. All right, when most people think of evolution, they think of Charles Darwin, which he pretty much forwarded, the agenda and madness of his grandfather. All right, and around that time or later on, you had the Lunar Society, which you can look that up if you want to do more research on it. But these are nothing but witches and warlocks who used ancient wisdom, all right, to forward rebellion against the Most High, okay, and to implement wine, okay, as the scriptures call it, into the earth, all right, because this earth is ran under a dark energy, okay, but it's based upon all these ancient philosophies repackaged, okay, and our people are all deep into it, all right. When you go into the conscious community, okay, if you notice, a lot of them are into that psycho babble, thinking that they're deep, okay. They believe that we have an ancestor by the name of Lucy, okay, who was a monkey, okay, half monkey, half human, all right, and that ultimately you can transcend the natural course of what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai set up, because that's what Satanism is. It's ultimately based upon rebellion against the Most High, all right, and it's implemented in many ways into the society and taught, all right, to children, okay, and this is pretty much the driving force behind this whole kingdom is witchcraft, rebellion, okay, and that's why this is called Babylon the Great, okay, and we're going to get into this video, which was done by the beloved brother Rakhwaya Kwam, all right, from the GMS London camp, okay, GMS Fear the Most High 7 Ba. I reloaded this video that he did a while back, and I watch it a lot because it's very intriguing to see how people have fell for the okie doke in madness. I'm talking about our people. Here it is, they don't know who the hell they are, and they're not able to differentiate between knowledge and mythology. Okay, knowledge is what the term science means, knowledge, to know. Okay, but they've been bamboozled and they reject the Most High, but they take on to all of these different weirdo philosophies, and look where it leads them, nowhere. And we'll get into that in just a minute. I have an article here, all right, showing you that the the concept of evolution actually goes back to ancient Babylon or Sumeria. Okay, we're all that, which pretty much, outside of the garden, with the serpent, because he had that philosophy as well. All right, this is where a lot of these occult and wicked practices stem from. All right, that rule this earth today. This is why the scriptures call it Babylon the Great. Now, in the scriptures, we know that you have Babel or Babylon, all right, which goes back to Nimrod, which ironically, Nimrod, when you look it up, what does his name mean? He was a Cushite, all right, a Hamite. Okay, and today these are the so-called Ethiopians, all right. Basically, it means rebellion, okay, rebellion, all right, son of Cush, grandson of Ham, great-grandson of Noah, all right, and we know that after the flood, this was the first major empire that ruled, all right, and what they tried to do, Nimrod, okay, and his cohorts, in which the children of Shem, some of them, probably most likely, joined them, because just like we're in this modern Babylon and we see our people doing evil, when you look at the scriptures, all right, and you put the pieces together, same thing was happening back then at the Tower of Babel, all right. It's just that the Heavenly Father has always left a remnant or a particular man that represents the remnant, that did right, okay, and went against the grain of evil and wickedness and stuck to the ways of their fathers. Okay, the breath of life that was breathed into Adam and passed down, which is the priesthood, the knowledge, the understanding, okay, and the fear of the Most High God Yahweh. Okay, now you have Babel, all right, which what does Babel mean? In the beginning of his kingdom, Genesis 10:10 was Babel, okay, which is where you have that great Tower of Babel, okay, Babal, all right, means what? Confusion. Con with fusion, mixing, by mixing all different various types of philosophies, all right, which pretty much lead to many pathways to Satanism and rebellion against the Most High. Now, when you go to the whole Masonic order, all right, the whole Luciferian doctrine, okay, they know that there is a higher power. They know that there is a God, all right, but they believe that the serpent is the good guy and that he freed humanity from the bounds and binds of wisdom, the binds of, obeying the Most High. Okay, and this goes back to what happened in the garden. Okay, you go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Okay, what did the serpent tell Eve? The serpent was ultimately a witch. It was a man, all right, but he had off philosophies. He was a witch. He practiced witchcraft. Okay, another way to immortality. Same thing Esau's pushing today. It's just all repackaged. Okay. Genesis 3:4. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. Okay, which was a lie. Eating of the fruit of witchcraft and wickedness and rebelling against the Most High has led to nothing but death. All right, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And that part is true, all right, because in order for us to complete and get to the point of true God, we would have to understand both righteousness and we would have to experience wickedness at its height to fully understand and know how to judge. Okay, we had to go through this. Okay, the perfect balance of the Most High. All right, but that's another lesson for another time. But as you look at what Esau is trying to do on the left-hand side, he's trying to attain godhood, okay, immortality through left-hand means. And it's all rooted in rebellion against the Most High. So you had Babel, okay, which is in Sumeria, which is where Abraham was born. Then you had the Neo-Babylonian Empire, okay, which was ran by the Assyrians, okay. You can look that up at the time of Daniel. Let's see if we can just type in Babylon. Yeah, you can read about that. So you have Babel, okay, which is Sumeria. Then you have the Neo-Babylonian Empire where you get Nebuchadnezzar, the Chaldeans, okay. But when you go into prophecy, you have the daughter of Babylon. You have Babylon the Great, okay, which is a revival, all right, of that Babylonian witchcraft, all right, ran by a different nation. So the first Babel, all right, was started by the Cushites, all right, the sons of Ham. All right, the Neo-Babylonian Empire was ran by the Assyrians, okay, which I believe they're Shemitic. Okay, they're not the chosen people, but they did come out of Shem. And then you have the daughter of Babylon, which is ran by the Edomites, Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots and abominations of the earth, as you read here in Revelation, the 17th chapter, in the 5th verse. Okay, that's why the scriptures say what? Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hands that have made all the earth drunken. How? With all of these different philosophies, confusion, okay, mixing, It has thrown off, all right, nations. It has destroyed strongholds. Okay, it has done everything in its power to destroy the existence of the Most High so that they can escape judgment through pseudoscience. Okay, and our people are drunken off that golden cup. Okay, what does the scripture say in Habakkuk? Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, and that putteth thy bottle to him, and that maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Okay, and that drink, all right, is a spiritual drunk, because that's our people. Let's get that real quick. This is our people, man. Isaiah 29:9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Okay, Isaiah 51:21. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. So our people, although they do overindulge in alcohol, all right, which if you brothers are overindulging in alcohol, all right, you need to chill out, because that shit is destructive. Put you on a low vibration and messes your body up. All right, me and a lot of brothers been talking about that. You know, that hard liquor. You know, as you get older, man, you got to chill out on that shit, man. You know, wine, a good wine too, you know, and you know, some champagne here and there, a little better than that hardcore alcohol. All right, but every man, you know, that's your fight between you and Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. You especially shouldn't just get up every morning drinking every day. That's not productive. Okay. All right. But, you know, with prayer, with fasting, and, you know, you can work that out on your own. Just advice through the Spirit. Okay. So when it says that our people are drunken, but not with wine, what are they drunk off of? The bottle. They're drunken off these philosophies. Babylon, which their tongue walketh throughout the earth. Okay. As the scriptures say, the wicked, their tongue. Let's get that in the book of, what's that? Psalm 73. Let's see here. Abandon their death. Yep. Psalm 73:8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. That's Esau. They speak loftily. Here it is. You've done all of this wickedness, but you're still talking about how what other country can you go to freely practice your own religion? But you're supposed to be a Christian. But you brag on the fact that the what makes America so great is that you can come here and get rich, and that you can practice any religion you want. If you're supposed to be a Christian, you're supposed to be against these other religions, and you're supposed to know that rich is corrupt. Now, overall, having riches is not a bad thing if you apply wisdom with those riches. But the money of this world is corrupt, and the scriptures tell you that. It hardly does a rich man enter. But through what? Wine, you've got people to believe that the doctrine of the Bible is really about prosperity, and our people help you forward it. The black boule, the gatekeepers of the Luciferian oath, right? So they speak wickedly concerning oppression. They set their mouth against the heavens. They speak against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And their tongue walketh through the earth. Their philosophies are everywhere. And it's poison every damn thing. Revelation, the 13th chapter. Revelation 13 and 5. Okay. Well, Revelation 13 and 6. And he opened his mouth. This is speaking of the beast system. This is speaking of you Edomites. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. You blaspheme the angels, talking about their aliens and big-headed green men. You blaspheme the tabernacle of the Most High, which are the Israelites. You blaspheme the name, which is the true image of the Most High God, Yahweh, and his only begotten Son. And people are all mixed up in these churches, which Christianity, Roman Catholicism is all based upon ancient Babylonian and Egyptian customs, which is why when we get the scripture in Isaiah 47, This is called the daughter of Babylon. Okay? So what we're going to get into is that this thing that we know of called evolution actually has its roots in ancient Sumeria, which is Babel, which is where all of these various customs we see being practiced come from. Proof we're in Babylon the Great. Okay? So this is an article called A Brief Introduction to the History of Evolution. All right. It says by Gerardus D. Bowell, all right, PhD. All right, because you know, Jake, it gotta be, you gotta go through the Edomite school system to be a reliable source. But then they say they you people are something else. Lyell is most firmly convinced that he has shaken the faith in the deluge, all right, far more efficiently by never having said a word against the Bible than if he had acted otherwise. All right. It says, thus wrote Charles Darwin on the 22nd and 24th of October, 1873. At first, reading this passage appears rather incongruous. Let's look this word up. Yeah, because these Edomites try to act as if the Bible support. They use pseudoscience, and you would think that they were really Christians, right? What you're going to find out is that the leaders of this world and these pastors in these churches that they set up, they all really believe in Satan. And look at the behavior of the people that go to these churches. Jake believes in evolution. There's a lot of people who so say they believe in the Bible. They believe we come from monkeys, right? Now, when Charles Darwin, which his grandfather started it all and all of that, came with that, evolution, the origin of species, that's ultimately Satan's Bible. That's their form of how species started and how creation came about. It's just theories that have somehow overtaken the classrooms in the mindset of everybody on the earth, damn near. Okay? The word means not in harmony or keeping with the surroundings or other aspects of something. Okay? Out of place. All right? So, yeah, I mean, knowing the true understanding of Darwin and what he was about, and by him saying he never spoke a thing against the Bible, the dude didn't even understand how plants evolved. And before he passed away, he pretty much told you a lot of the shit he said was BS. All right? And there's a book called The Evolution Handbook you can buy if you ever want to condemn that madness, the earth being billions of years old, the fact that we come from monkeys, but the scriptures already did it. As a matter of fact, real quick, let's see here. Let's get 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. Okay? A monkey cannot turn into a man. And that's this whole transhumanism thing. Okay? That you can transcend, all right, the forms and what the Heavenly Father set up. Now, we as Israelites, we're going to be put into different forms in the form of what? When we're upgraded and changed. But that's through the Most High and through righteousness. He's telling you all of these things can be done through technology, lies, and BS. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 39. All flesh is not the same flesh. All right. Even fruit have flesh. Humans have flesh. Animals have flesh. Right. But there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beast, another of fishes, and another of birds. Evolution and this whole transcending thing is based upon the fact that a bird can eventually be a fish. or a fish can eventually be a bird, or a beast can eventually become a man. And it's confusion. And it's all based upon the fact that when the Heavenly Father, through the Elohim, created everything, that's not right. It's all rebellion against the Most High. Okay? Freedom from having to believe in the way he did it. All right? Through the Elohim. All right? Going back here, though. All right? It says, it appears after first at first reading this passage appears rather incongruous, all right, but actually it reflects the true nature of the resurgence of evolution in the 19th century. But to see this, it behooves us to look back further into history, back to the root of evolution as an idea and creed. Okay? Origins. It will come as a surprise to many to learn that evolution is not a modern idea. Okay, it didn't start with Darwin. Remember, even when the Greeks came into power and the Romans, who did they borrow their gods from? Who did they look to for their wisdom and understanding? Babylon. Okay, the Canaanites, Egypt. Okay, that's why when you read Revelation, the 11th chapter, this beast system, Babylon the Great, is known as what? Revelation 18 and 11, or 11, real quick. Salakia, Revelation 11 and 8 says what? And their dead bodies, the dead bodies of the Israelites, in a dead state shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. What is that great city in prophecy? Babylon. Okay? Great city of Babylon. See? Revelation 18 and 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying thus with violence, that great city Babylon shall be thrown down. Revelation 18 and 18. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? So that great city is Babylon, because that whole chapter is speaking of the fall of Babylon the Great. Okay? So the Israelites would lie dead in the streets of a great city, which is spiritually called Sodom. Who ran those empires? Who was flourishing in? Hamites. In Egypt. Okay? Matazarium. And we know that those are sons of Ham. Okay? So spiritually, and they all get their roots and their philosophies from Sumeria, Babylon. Right? Anyway. It will come to a surprise to many to learn that evolution is not a modern idea spawned by the pressure of scientific evidence. Evolution's roots go back to several millennia, back to ancient Babylon and Sumer. Okay? Ur of the Chaldees. All right, this is where Abraham was born. See, we're born in a spiritual Babylon. Abraham, all right, was born and raised in the actual Ur of the Chaldees, the actual Babylon. So he saw all of these practices and he grew up, and his father worshiped these idols, man. And he was turned back to his heritage, just like us. It says the word evolution means unfolding. When applied to the creation of the universe, all right, it tacitly supposes that God at best, all right, had a more or less passive role in the history of creation. By God, I mean, of course, the God of the Bible. Okay? They undermine the God of the Bible. Okay? But in some of their satanic, organizations, they use the Bible. There's a documentary on that. I forget the name of it. Apostle Ramlab talked about it in one of his lessons before. It says the ancients had other gods which they held accountable for the creation. All right. Marduk. Okay. Anu. Okay. And that's what's being condemned here, man. As a matter of fact, when you get Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah the 50th chapter, and this is speaking of the Babylon the Great. This wasn't speaking of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. This is speaking of Babylon the Great when you go into it. Jeremiah 50:1. The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans, which were the witches and warlocks of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, publish, and set up a standard. All right, and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Baal is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces. When you go to Marduk, all right, it is whole dual-gendered, Baphomet, okay, the torture of children, all of that goes back to Marduk. Okay, Marduk also had a spade in his hand. Okay, which is like what? A sword. And Esau takes on that energy today. Okay, Marduk, Baal is confounded, Baal. See, the scriptures say we're not going to bow to the knee to the image of Baal. Okay, Baal is confounded, Marduk is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. And that's what's happening through this word going out, man. And we're publishing and concealing not. So you have the image of the beast being established, but then you have the prophets here to uplift and establish the image of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and speak the end of this wicked image into existence. Right? So it says the ancient had other gods by which they held accountable for creation. All right. The earliest surviving extra biblical account of creation came to us from the ancient Babylonians, which is why they tell you the Bible stole from the, forget the name of it. It's off the tip of my tongue. All right. But they recorded the flood, the Cushites. Okay. They recorded the flood. Why? Because their father is Ham, going back to Ham. He, of course, you're going to tell your children about the flood. Was not Ham on the boat? Did not Shem, Ham, and Japheth survive the flood with Noah and their wives? So because you have another recording of the flood, okay, in the Bible, in going back to that was after they had recorded that. But that doesn't mean that their BS was stolen. I mean, the Bible stole from their BS. It just means that they recorded the flood as well. And the Bible condemns the ways of Babylon, the ways of Egypt. But these dudes always find some particular way to say, well, the Bible is stealing from these different cultures. But I'll say this, Christianity does. Christianity has its roots in Babylonian BS, in Egypt. Catholicism does, but not the true scriptures, man. It says the Babylonians' creation accounts are typified by that found in the Epic of Gilgamesh. That's it. Which some people say Gilgamesh is Nimrod. There's other arguments, but it's out there. The Epic of Gilgamesh. From said epic, we learn that the Babylonians believed that the universe had a chaotic beginning. That's where you get the Big Bang. The Big Bang is nothing new. They've been speaking of, even the Egyptians, they had a Big Bang. They had more than one creation myths. They had about 5 of them. One of them was a god literally beat off in a Big Bang, came from that ejaculation, and he bust all of the galaxies and everything into existence. One of them bust on some lettuce. Weird, man. Real weird. But we're crazy. The Babylonian creation myths are typified by that found in the Epic of Gilgamesh. It says some centuries later, under Alexander the Great, the Greeks inherited the Babylonian culture. All right, now aren't we in the Greco-Roman beast system right now? So these very philosophies are here, but they're just repackaged. Okay? And you think you getting your hands on something deep. All right, but you're being deceived. And that's the house of consciousness. They're into all of this stuff. I believe we got a damn ancestor, Lucy. It says, so the Greeks inherited the Babylonian culture complete with its mythology. See, there's a difference between knowledge and mythology, and they don't know how to tell the difference because they don't know who the hell they are. You jakes. In the Greek writings, we find a strong reinforcement of the superstition of evolution, just as we do today. Just as when Darwin came with that, he basically repackaged those ancient ways and forwarded them, man. That the world as we know now was not created in its present form, and that the life it bears evolved into its present form through tens of millennia. Madness. Okay? And when Jake got Hellenized, they didn't just get Hellenized by hopping up and down in Greek fraternities. Their mindset, their beliefs of what God is. Okay? It says, to the Greeks, the creator of the universe was the god Chaos. All right? And they live by that. They love chaos unto this day. It says the most prominent Greek advocates of evolution were Thales, all right, Anaximenes, Aristotle, and Lucretius. Although the Greek myths of creation were interpolated from the Babylonian before 200 BC, we can still find the same myth in modern science. See, these what they call science today. Okay, let's get this in the book of Timothy, 1 Timothy 6:20, and they're pushing it now. Trust the science, the science, the science. Right? 1 Timothy 6:20, because where was Timothy at? They were in the Rome was ruling. So Jake was all into this madness back then. 1 Timothy 6:20, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and the oppositions of science, falsely so-called. Let's look up the word oppositions. Antithesis. All right.
Strong's G 477. Antithesis. Antithesis.
Antithesis. Opposition, that which is opposed. You have anti, which is against, opposite, instead of something, in place of something. See, they've replaced the Most High, all right, with science. And you all are falling for it. This myth. And then you have fifth Amy, all right, aside, to set, to establish. They've established BS. Okay, it's all rooted in wickedness and evil and Satan, which some professing have erred concerning the faith. Grace be with it. And a lot of Jake try to implement these vain babblings and put it into the doctrine. Hell is one of them. Various different things, man. Man doesn't control the sex of the child. It's not just the seed. Well, the woman determines the sex of your. Jake is into all of that stuff that goes back to them redoing the order, replacing the Most High's way with what? Babble, pseudoscience. What did it say about the man of sin? Let's read about this guy. 2 Thessalonians 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay? Lying wonders. What is lying? Pseudos. A lie. Conscience and intentional falsehood. In a broad sense, whatever is not what it seems to be. Perverse, impious, deceitful precepts. So this whole notion that they are about God and the Christian church, all of these things are rooted in witchcraft and evil. Look at the people who go to these churches. They're deceitful precepts. Look at the people who so-called believe in science. Look at what they do. Look at what they believe in. Look at what they support. This is the way. Jump here. Polite, which he's all over the place. First he was a Nubian, then he was this, then he was that. Then he got some money and went to Hollywood and say F all of that black power shit. But it's all hidden under black power. Madness. These are all agents of Satan, man.
Especially when it comes to evolution. Then we're going to deal with what? We have to discuss what? Cognitive pragmatics, which deals with selective optimization with compensation. And what we mean by that? When we talk about selective optimization with compensation, we're talking about the cultural aspect of evolution.
Evolution. See?
Say a cultural aspect of evolution.
So he's telling you that our culture is some damn evolution. That's a part of our culture. The fact that things can transcend the natural course of what the Heavenly Father set them to be. And it's all within this society. Look at this world and you see it. A man can be a woman. A woman can be a man.
That's what we're talking about when we say selective optimization with compensation. We're talking about the cultural aspect of evolution and how it affects the central nervous system and how that effect of the central nervous system transmutes or transmigrates into behavior that
Lord.
also determine or precipitate or generate what? A certain outlook, certain modes. So what I'm talking about will transcend what you call Darwinism. What I'm talking about. It'll transcend Darwinism. Well, we will have to discuss Darwinism. He's one of the people we have to discuss because he's what I call showcase science. Some parts of what you know about is what I call showcase science or glass science or glass showcase science. And what I mean by that is like when I say evolution, you say monkey. Why does that happen? Well, the reason why that happens is because that is the knowledge they put on the glass showcase before the whole world. When you think evolution, you think monkey.
And it's deeper than that. See, the Babylonians didn't talk about a man coming from a monkey. And we'll show you what they were talking about. The brother breaks it down here. But it's still wickedness. It's still rebellion. Yeah, when people think evolution, that's the first thing they think about. But you niggas do believe. I've seen it. I'm not going to look it up. I remember Sonetta had this woman on his channel. I remember Polite said it. We have an ancestor, which he switches it up. So he may not say it no more. He's all over the place. But they say we have an ancestor, an African ancestor named Lucy. Let's look it up real quick. Gotta finish that. Let's see. Where can I let me look? Hold up. Meet 3 million old Lucy. A lot of Jake believes in this. A 3 million old female, which there are no transitional fossils, right? But here it is. They found this is the transitional fossil. We couldn't find anything else, but we found Lucy, where the bones and everything, the structure of man or beast merged into man. Meet 3 million old Lucy. She'll tell you about modern African heritage. You see that? And Jake is all into this. You can look it up on your own. Ethiopia's Lucy remains make claims about the shifts in deep time. And you notice in his evolution, they need billions of years because they know you never going to see this shit in your lifetime. So then you'll say, well, see, it takes another billion a year. No, it didn't happen. Shut up. And you can look this up. But let's look it up in this sense. Let's see if we can find it on one of these Black Power channels. I remember the video. You got a lot of Jake who believe in this crap, man. And Esau's the one who pushes all of this, and Jake takes it as truth. Human and Lucy. And this is when that whole Africa, where you get these Edomites saying the first humans go back to Africa. This is what they're talking about. Making a mockery of you all. Obama meets a 3.2 million year old human ancestor, Lucy. The missing link, Lucy. Look at this nigga. Imagine this nigga showed up to the party. You know? Well, I remember Sonetta did have a woman on there, and I remember Polite talking about it too, you know? But we ain't gonna waste too much time on it. Oh, man. Lucy ancestor. Yeah, that's what Jake is into. And, you know, they have a movie, okay, called Lucy. All right, but it deals with her taking some sort of medicine and transcending into something else, which it all goes back to Babylon. It's all evolution, just repackaged and hidden and implemented into stuff today. All right, the movie Upgrade deals with it. You know, I'm not gonna play it. All right, but you transcending. The brother told me about this one. All right. Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. There's a lot of, supposedly, I'll take a look at it, but supposedly there's a lot of these satanic, all right, influences embedded in this show. But it presents itself as something cute and innocent. And it's in everything. Everything surrounding us is rooted in Satanism, man. But anyway.
For those people that's actually reading and studying, they will learn that a lot of other information has to be discussed that we haven't gone through because it's not on the glass showcase for everybody. You have to actually search for the information that I'm about to
Cosmic Babble.
So I'm forewarning my brothers that's all taking the panel, be careful. And what I mean by that is you don't want to go up there and start talking about something. And then when the young phenom go up, what I'm going to suggest is y'all let me go first. And that.
Right, Shalom. Let's break it down. The evolution shouldn't even be a topic because the evolution doesn't exist. But the reason why evolution is a topic for them, and they're calling it science versus mythology. First of all, these guys don't know how to tell the difference between science and mythology. They believe that basic community are not equipped Babylonian myth. God, man, this guy is not equipped. Don't even know their nationality. Okay. This guy, Dr. Jack Felder, said he don't believe in God, man. This guy is not
Sonetta
equipped
TV
to deal with the subject of evolution. Now let's deal with evolution.
And they're doing this. Sarnetter is doing nothing with, the Neo-Babylonian Empire did. Yeah, they acknowledge the God of the Bible, but amongst all of these other different gods. So now he's trying to take this Hebrew approach because really all of that other shit is failing. So he got to talk about the Bible. That's the only way people gonna watch. People ain't getting nowhere with this psycho babble. What the hell is gonna get you? What's going on in the earth now? How does it help you today? Knowing that you got an ancestor that go back 3.2 million years and all of this evolution cycle, but how does it help you now? All of this psycho babble, then you get to these niggas and all they talk about is money. Polite bowing to money. Remember polite bow to money?
Man, and it's very simple. I could go deep into it, but it's a waste of my time. All right, evolution is an ancient Babylonian myth, and it has nothing to do with apes turning into monkeys and all that. That's just how the so-called white man packaged it under Darwin, because he was given that basically that command by the spiritual.
Look. Polite, he bowing to money. He praying to money. Damn, GMS. So this dude shows up on a year. He came around 2008-9 when the Hebrew Israelites came on the scene. And he was a Nuwapian. This dude is an agent. A lot of these dudes are agents. But anyway, all that psychobabble only to worship some goddamn empty money that's not even backed by gold. Even if it was, what in the hell are you worshiping money for?
Demon Satan, all right, to teach it like that, to destroy it. All right, evolution is an ancient Babylonian myth. And it has nothing to do with apes turning into monkeys and all that. That's just how the so-called white man packaged it under Darwin.
There you go.
Because he was given that basically that command by the spiritual demon Satan, all right, to teach it like that, to destroy basically to bring darkness upon people, to destroy the faith that the people had at the time in God, and to usher in an even deeper darkness on the earth than they were already in. Because even though the Dark Ages, those people were misguided, they still knew that there was a God, and they believed that God created the universe and the people and the animals and the plants. But the so-called white man, being the devil, being in rebellion against the light, sought to destroy that and to bring the people into a deeper darkness so he can control them. But you gotta understand the origins of that evolution, because what they're saying with evolution is you can start off as one thing and transcend and elevate naturally into another until basically you become God. And that's basically what evolution is all about. It's a philosophy of man becoming God. It has nothing to do with apes becoming men. It's really about men becoming God. That's what evolution is all about. All that other stuff that they try to tell you is bullshit, because it's never been proven on the history of the planet Earth that one species or one kind of animal can produce another kind of animal. It's never been recorded.
When you go into the scriptures, okay, and all of these different philosophies are back, okay, after its kind. Let's just type in that. And that's why they splicing the genes. They're doing all of this. What they're trying to do with with this thing. Okay. Genesis 1:11, and God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit yielding tree." All right, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind. After its kind. Bringing forth living creatures after their kind. right? But what Esau is doing is he's saying no. He's making it after his own way. Okay, gene splicing and all of that, and he's going deeper. What he's trying to do with this thing with man.
Dogs produce dogs, cats produce cats, and that's because of the rule of this universe, which was set up by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai when he gave the order to create this world. He created everything with its seed within itself. So an apple tree produces apples, orange tree produces oranges. Now, within the genome of that orange tree, there might be variation to produce a different type.
Even with the whole breakdown of the other nations being grafted onto the olive tree, that is rebellion against the natural order of the Most High. It's an olive tree. Now, you have various different kinds of olives that you can graft onto an olive tree. All right. In that case, it was a wild olive branch that he grafted onto a good olive tree so that the tree may live. That's science. That's knowledge. But you can't put an apple, okay, and graft an apple branch upon an olive tree. But don't you know Esau has created a tree through rebellion that has all manner of fruit? It's wicked. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
Of orange, but it's still going to produce an orange. Just like you got Noah. Noah had 3 sons, and they had those wives. Well, guess what? From that small genome, it had within it all of the variation to produce all the different types of men and women you see on the planet today. That all came from the same source. It's not evolution, it's just variation and an expression of that variation which was within the original code.
And you do have mutations, right? But see, what they'll try to tell you is that the result of the mutation is superior than the thing it was before. No. It's always weaker. And it ends up dying. But anyway.
Okay, it all goes back to the original code. Alright, all the different types of dogs you see go back to the original code which was written in the original dog, which was designed and created by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So all this evolution stuff is just a smokescreen to A, destroy the faith of people in the Most High, and B, proliferate the philosophy of making yourself into a god. That's why Esau's trying to learn as much about genetics. He's trying to learn about robotics, because Esau wants to be able to transcend and become a god. And that's what they believe at the top levels in the New Age doctrine, or the so-called Luciferian doctrine, because we know that it's darkness rather than light.
Right, because Luciferian really means light. The true illuminated ones are the Israelites in the spirit. Now, let's go here real quick, because we're in Babylon all over again. It's just with a different ruler, all right, a different region of the earth, all right, but it's still Babylon. Isaiah 47:1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. All right, now what is a virgin daughter? All right, let's look up the word daughter. This is basically an offspring of the ancient Babylonian Empire. All right, now you have the word Bath, which means, a daughter, a girl. But as you go down, description of character. Okay, so you can go here and look at the belief systems here in America, and they're describing ancient Babylon. Women in ancient Babylon, you had to be a whore and have an orgy ran on you in order to be a queen, right? You had to have whore-like attributes. Okay, the men would put on dresses and lipstick. Why do you think in the book of Nahum, which that was the Assyrian, Nineveh, same people, all right? Why do you think he was cursing out that particular empire, man. He said the whoredoms, man. The leader at that time, Sardanapalus, what was he doing? He was dressing as a damn woman. And we see that here today on a big time level. So Nahum, we're back in Nineveh. We're back in Babylon. We're back, all of these different philosophies stem from ancient Babylon in many, many ways. All right. Bath. I wonder if the bathhouse, woman. Yeah. Just a thought. Banah. All right. To build, rebuild, to establish, to cause to continue. All right. Establish. So they reestablished that Babylonian wicked way. Okay. To be built up. A childless wife becoming mother of a family through the children of a concubine. Rebuild to establish a family. And they're rebuilding that legacy of ancient Babylon. That's why they're called the virgin daughter. And they haven't been touched by any true nuclear war from an opposing power. So they think that they're going to win. They think that they're, blameless. Like a wicked woman. A whore. Come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. That's America. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. All right. O daughter of the Chaldeans. Now, who are the Chaldeans? Okay. Witches and warlocks of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, man. All right. Assyria and Lower Mesopotamia. All right. Those persons considered the wisest in the land, man. And your wisdom has been found foolish, man. All right. Fauci. He's a Chaldean. There's a lot of them. The elite of this world. All right. Some you'll never see, but they're behind closed doors. All right. Producing babble that forwards this world. And they commune directly with these different demons. What do you think CERN is all about? Nimrod had this type of technology as well, but it's been heightened. So as you go down, it says, stand now, verse 12, with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, which thou hast labored from thy youth. See? If so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so, thou mayest be able to prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators, witches, stand up to save thee from the things that shall come upon thee. And that's what they're up against. They're trying to rewrite the story. They're trying to pseudoscience. They're trying to do everything they can to escape from their judgment through what? Pseudoscience. The Tower of Babel, a stronghold of confusion. They've changed the when you read Darwin's book. Let's look his book up. His book, The Origin of Species. Okay. He's giving you his origin of where species come from. And one thing people don't notice and peep. All right. Let me see if I can. What I'll do is this. The origin of species by means of natural selection. We have the origin of species in the scriptures. So this is their version of it. Right? Pull it up so you can see this. Because a lot of people don't know this is a title of it as well. See, origin of species, preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. Who's the favorite race? When you go on this whole IQ, the whole IQ intelligence quotient, the Amalekite, man. But anyway, let's get a little bit more from here. Point was made. We're in Babylon. That's why when you read Revelation, the 18th chapter, all right, Babylon is going to fall, which is going to lead into the kingdom of heaven. All of this confusion and wickedness you've done And it's not, it's even worse than we can even explain. Oh boy. It says, so as not to smack the supernatural science, instead drops the title God and writes the God's name with the lowercase letter. Hence, modern science claims that the cosmos came into being by chance. And they have debates online and everything, man. And that it had a chaotic beginning, that it exploded into existence. So something came from nothing. Meaning you could walk into a well-furnished apartment and that happened by itself. It evolved that way. No man moved those, put that couch together. No man put that couch, that picture, all right, juice in the refrigerator period. That happened by chance. And they'll sit there and argue you down, man. And this is a deep-rooted belief. Though other terminology may be used today, the idea is still basically the same as it is held by the ancient Greeks. The only difference being that the modern version of cosmology avoids using the words God and creator. Right? They think it's stupid. The God or creator. Okay? Well, you have a sun, stars, moon. That just happened by chance. It blew up into that. Right, and here we are able to, put our penises inside of a woman's vagina and go up and down, and this substance shoots out, and another person eventually is a sperm goes into the egg, and a whole Negro climbs out, grows up, and becomes a great singer. All of this just happened by music. All of this stuff is just here from a big explosion. Creation is stupid unto them. There's no creator. But here it is, they brag on their creations, their computers, their technology. Just like man could create a computer to play you in dominoes, the Most High can create a man with a brain that is a computer to do particular things on the earth. The speculation that the universe had a chaotic origin is not the only place where modern science partakes in fables of the ancients. Circa AD 50, Hinduism was born, and a lot of the stuff that's here today, the Hinduism has a lot to do with the beliefs of today as well. Was born with its belief in the cycles of reincarnation. Now, the Hindus' form of reincarnation is that what? A man can in one life be a human, and in the next life he's a bat. Flying, seeing in the dark, upside down. You could be an owl. You come back as a rat. The Elamites lay in temples with rats. Right? That's bugged out. I ain't gonna play it, but yeah. Indian rat temple. And when you watch these, it's gonna say that these are our ancestors. And they're laying there with them. Then they come over here and they're the top scientists. They're smart. They're looking down on you. Well, this is what they're doing, back where they're from. Look at that guy. A rat on his shoulder. This was my uncle in my other life. Crumbled feather. We gotta get the hell up out of here. And you heathen just need to be taught the truth, man. See, people just think the thought of spirits returning goes back to Hinduism, but ultimately that goes all the way back. The sons of God knew about that, man. Oh man. To them, the universe was reborn only to die, reborn on yada yada yada. They had all type of madness. 50 billion years. All right, the church fathers. Let me jump to this real quick, and then I'll end it off. And I'll leave this in the description so y'all can just read it on your own and get more information. Because this went over how, I thought it was going to be short, but you know how that goes. Church fathers. Evolution as faith entered Christianity thought through some of the so-called church fathers, which the so-called church fathers went off. These were Jakes. And what did they do? They incorporated Constantine. They incorporated Egyptian, Babylonian customs. One of the earliest Origin was who maintained. One of the earliest was Origin, who maintained in his Principia that the Genesis account of creation was a myth and that evolution was actually God's method of creating the world. And secretly, this is what a lot of these people are about, who you think are hardcore Bible teachers. Okay? Similarly, in the 4th century, Augustine insisted that God had, at the creation, instilled in non-living things the power to evolve into other life form. There you go. Hence, the sea spawned fish and the earth spawned animals, although he did not believe in evolution in the sense that one day a lizard laid an egg and a bird hatched out. It's all nonsense anyway. Yet Augustine did not believe that the 6 days of creation were literal, and they're not literal days. They're 1,000-year periods. One day is as 1,000 years. Between Origin and Augustine, the stage was set for current official stance of Roman Catholicism. See that? The Roman Catholics, you see the Pope has the fish hat. They believe in all sorts of mess and madness. They worship the womb, Mary. All of these heathen did that. All right? We'll end it off here. What's that? End it off here. Whew. Yeah, we got to get up out of here, man. These are the people who rule over us that believe in this type of madness. What's that? 12. What's it? 13. Wisdom Psalm 13:1. Surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of the Most High, and that could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work master, but deemed either fire, wind, or the swift air, or the circle of the stars. The stars are circles. It says, or the violent water, or the light of heaven to be the gods which govern the world. And they believe in all of this, man. With whose beauty, and this is those Hamites, okay, those inhabitants of the Holy Land at that time, man. He's going into history with whose beauty, and those Babylonians, going back to Nimrod and all of them. This is the stuff they believed in. With whose beauty, if they being delighted took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, of them is. For the first author of beauty hath created them. All right. Yes, these things were created. There is a creator. If you don't believe there's a creator, hey, that's on you. We'll see. He created your dumb ass to be dumb. But if they were astonished by their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. All right. For by the greatness and beauty of creatures, proportionably, the maker of them is seen. All right, man, he's an artist. Look at the zebra. Come on, man. But yet for this they are lest to be blamed, for they peradventure err, seeking God and desirous to find him. Let's see here. That's a dope chapter. I have to read that again. But anyway, I put the link to this video in the description. I just wanted to get into that. You know, this whole thing of evolution and Big Bang actually goes back to ancient Babylon, Sumeria. So with that, you know, hopefully you're edified. On to the next. Shalom.